Dobrodošli u drugi deo razgovora sa Triksi Lohmirman, ženom koja je promenila način na koji svet razmišlja o tehnologiji i inovacijama. Direktorka Gitex Globala, najveće tehnološke izložbe na svetu, govori o misiji koja stoji iza tog događaja i o ideji da svrha uvek mora biti iznad profita. Otkriva svoju ličnu priču, kako je kao mlada žena iz Singapura uspela da se izbori sa predrasudama, izgradi globalnu karijeru i postane glas onih koji priliku tek treba da dobiju. Priča i o projektima koji menjaju živote u Africi, Aziji i Evropi i davanju šanse mladim inovatorima i o tome zašto je Srbija izabrana da bude partner Gitexa. Triksi Lohmirman, inspiracija, vizija i dokaz da jedna ideja može da poveže svet. Uživajte!
One thing that you mentioned in our conversation before our joint discussions is that also you say the exhibition, the core of the exhibitioning will change from the self first to the purpose first. Maybe just to hear your comment about that. I really like it.
You know, for us, I'm sure it's the same for yourself as you are heading up the chamber of business. Many times it's not just about just doing the business. You are looking at the wider picture of how you're going to enlarge the global ecosystem, not just for one, two companies, but really working with different countries, jurisdiction, different industries, bring them, how to integrate them, so that you can, how do I say, augment and enlarge the universe of trade. First, before you talk about what can I do for you on a one-to-one basis. This is the same mission for Gitex. We always say we have created very interesting products in emerging economies that nobody think about going. Which is why we have also received a lot of interest, because those are destinations that's never first choice. I'll call it second tier markets. But when you put it on the map and say this is now part of the Gitex global universe, we are surprised by the interest and the very ardent support to say, I want to come on this discovery mission with you. We want to discover about Serbia. We launch Gitex Central Asia in Kazakhstan. Phenomenal. People say, wow, we heard a lot about it, see in the news, but we don't know the country, never been there. But let me come and see what's going on there. We hear that there are a lot of projects going on, a lot of great talents. We have launched Gitex in Vietnam. Who doesn't love Vietnam? Great energy, such high percentage of young people there, very literate, you know, the digital literacy is super high. They are huge in manufacturing, semiconductor. So again, big in fintech. If you look at that whole economy that they already have without a Gitex, it's already phenomenal. Put Gitex in the equation and elevate it and put it on the global map. It's a great multiplier effect.
Of course.
Impact on Vietnam. So to your point, but when we go there, we do not want to just say we create another show. We need to understand the purpose of why the government wants to do that. Again, is to create jobs, is to make sure that the startups now are able to benchmark with the startups around the world to know what else are people creating. You can be, you know, we've met some of the amazing startups here in my last visit. Some of the most talented engineers hail from this part of the world. But they need to understand what are the amazing talents in Nigeria is creating, or someone said, and also understanding, can my product really be sold in Asia? You could be creating a product that has no commercial value. Or you can use the data which are not actually...
Correct.
Yes, you cannot try to create this product and say, let me sell to Africa. You have not used any data from there. So when you look at all this, we need to also understand the purpose of why we're doing it. Empowerment, talent, job creation, making sure that governments do not repeat the same mistakes as another government. If they can talk to each other and learn from each other, you can really cut through, you know, a lot of the trials and tribulations that other economies have been through. And it fast tracks you, save a lot of resources and time as well. So when you look at all those deeper purposes, I always said it gets a bit emotional when we look at some of those emerging countries that we operate in. When we run Gitex Africa in Morocco, Phenomena is the largest tech show now in Africa, and it's actually the larger than any tech shows in the whole of Europe. Yeah. And this is sitting in Morocco. Yeah. If you go into ChatGPT a few years ago and you say, where will be the next biggest tech show in the world or what? Morocco will never come up. So you can be defying ChatGPT, what they're telling you to create based on your own commitment and inspiration. Yeah. Accessibility is very important for us. If we are able to allow some Kenyans, talented Nigerians, to get them on the first flight out of the country, that will be a great sense of achievement for us. Some of them will never have the opportunity to get out. But if through Gitex we now are able to give them the opportunity to take the first flight out to somewhere where they can now get the opportunities that they so deserve, that they were always been deprived of, and give them the same equal opportunities as advanced economies, why not? So even for us, purpose as Gitex is very important. And when you look at that, we continue to invest. In a lot of the events, you know, it's tough for us financially as well to run some of these models. But we know in time to come, if we grow and expand the global economy, those rewards and the payback will you know, we will reap those benefits later on. This is exactly what you are talking. It's not about looking in the cake how it looks now and trying to, you know, scratch the biggest part of the cake, but to make the cake bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is exactly what you said. And when it becomes bigger, there's more for everyone. So 10 startups may die because they don't have opportunities, but because we created this, they found some business, they're able to scale in the different country, we kept them going, the jobs went. So very hard to measure the success, but we really believe in that phenomenon of, you know, if we can create that universe. And with AI, you really can, because if you go into a show now, you see, as you just said earlier on, you suddenly come into Gitex and see so many new companies that you've never seen. How did that come about? Because AI has created a lot of opportunities for all. So even for us coming back on this trip to Serbia, it's incredible to see, you know, the new AI startups that's emerging from here. So Marco, maybe good to also just understand from you. We kept talking about AI, how interesting but yet challenging as well. How do you see your role in the government leadership and of course as the chief of chamber to be able to now augment the business opportunities for all these companies, whether it's also the entrepreneurs and founders, with leveraging the whole AI digital benefits that is going to come, because they need to start to monetize it. At the moment, monetization from AI is still very tough. So they may say, you keep telling me to invest in AI, but I haven't seen the benefits. So what is your narrative to them? What we actually are doing now is basically exactly taking the technology, and this is the infrastructure we built in the last 6 years with the Center of Digital Transformation, taking the technology and transforming it to something which entrepreneur in whatever business can use in every day. Okay. So just a few weeks ago, we launched 9 AI-based tools for different industries. We are the first, I think, first chamber in the world that launched a year ago first chatbot for entrepreneurs. So you can go and ask, how can I start a company? What I need for the tax deduction? How can I find what I need for the market of tariffs in, I don't know, Kenya? Yeah. So this is something that we actually worked with our teams and with our companies, working with our partners, to build the newest technology and put it in the space where anybody can use it. And this is something that is the most important. This is the same, before the AI, we started with digital transformation of SMEs, where we sent the consultants into the companies, and they actually consulted the companies how to transform, to digitalize their production processes, whatever, sales, whatever. And then we measured what happens. And every company that went through our process, and it's more than 6,000 companies,
in Srbija, we measured at minimum 27% increase of revenues or expand and so on. So then we had this kind of knowledge, and we tried to put it on the table and to have as many entrepreneurs as possible to use it. And this was only possible because we had a very strong community of young people, developers, even startuppers, or people who were working in IT, which were very interested to connect with traditional industries.
Absolutely.
This kind of, and this is what the chamber, as I see it, has to do. And this is, I think, what you also now said is perfectly describing this kind of purpose of Gitex, but I think the purpose of anybody who is actually dealing with the new technology today. It's how to expand the possibilities to as many as possible.
I mean, the new phase we always use is not even new, it has always been in textbook. It's really about cooperation. You know, you cooperate and yet you compete with each other. That's really that whole new doctrine that we all have to adopt. So tell me about, you have very talented.
You see that it started to be your interview with me, but
no,
it's okay.
I love it because, Serbia is such a wonderful story. You look at the talents that's coming out from here, and I think it's very understated in the world. I'm beginning to hear more and see more because I see now Serbian startups and companies coming in a lot of the Gitexes, which is why for me it's a great intimacy, exposure to understand how they are, how they function and what they think and their aspiration and the ambition. The energy is palpable. When you look at this whole young cohort of young founders, super engineers here. Serbia and this region here is known for some of the best technical talents, very sought after. There must be also frustration in these young tech inventors in terms of how and where they want to be. And of course, I'm sure they're looking towards yourselves and the Serbian government to support them to be able to find a bigger space in the world. What are some of these frustrations, and how do you think in the next 4 or 5 years, or maybe 3 years, through your policies, you can try to enable and fast track them so that they can compete with other startups in the world?
I think this is an excellent question. Thank you for overtaking and hijacking this show. But this is never, it's not Čadež talk, it's Triksi talk now.
Purpose.
But basically, this is exactly why we decided to go with Gitex together in the last few years. Because when we asked startups, they went with us 4 years ago, to Gitex, and the company went with us to Gitex and said, we thought we had a product, but actually we had a solution, we had a technological solution. But on the places like Gitex, be it in Dubai or in Singapore or in Berlin or in Morocco, that is where we actually started to learn in exchange with the others what is basically the market, what is our product, what is our solution that we are actually building, what problem are we solving, and what are we selling. And that is what they learn. They cannot learn it easily here. They need to go out. They need the platform.
You cannot try to solve an agriculture problem in Africa.
Of course.
If you are not there to talk to them and understand what they're doing.
They really know how to position it. It's not only about idea, it's about putting this idea to work. But let me hijack back. We talk a lot about purpose in the terms of what is the purpose of Gitex, or purpose of being or connecting economies, businesses, governments with the technology. But there is one thing that I'm really always, this mystery for me, and that is when you look for private things about Triksi, you cannot find anything in online. So if you ask ChatGPT, anything. But there has to be something, and speaking of purpose, what is actually moving you? What is actually giving you this huge energy to be exceptional, to be all around and to really work. There is not only business. There has to be something which is, core of yourself, which is giving you this strength. Please. I couldn't find anything.
Thank you for that question. Thank you for that question, and I mean it sincerely. And you're right. It's not often that in business context you talk about your kind of a personal journey. I didn't come from a privileged background, where you have a lot of access to means. We all have to work very hard. And was I talented? Am I talented? I was good in school. I came up top in school, always. But understanding that in the 90s, when I was starting to come out to work, and I had that great opportunity to also go to Europe to work, for example, with that. It's not easy. You're talking about 1990s. That you're talking about. I'll keep it very straight. There's a lot of biases. Young female, different ethnicity coming to work in that kind of environment. It can break you.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate to always have that one or two individuals who can spot the talent in you and gave you the opportunity. And for me, I'm always very grateful because I don't need to please many people. I just need to please the two people who trust me. And I'll make sure I go all the way out to repay you that kindness and prove to you that you have invested in me right. You have taken a good bet on me. And when I look back at that, I'm here today. I'm a byproduct of a very good government from Singapore. Singapore has amazing policies. The founding father of modern Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, was very visionary. Be it the education system. I can still remember making us learn Chinese in the 80s. Who was talking about learning Chinese?
In the 80s?
He knew that China will be great one day, and he wanted to make sure that we are very connected to one of the biggest economies in the world. And I'm here today also because of opportunities. When I look around in many parts of the world, there's so much talent out there, Marco. It's a shame when you look around and say that why this most talented person is working in a restaurant. When in the engagement with them, they are top honors in biophysics. They're working in a restaurant. And when you look at that, it's because of opportunities, the lack of opportunities to them. Of course, we can't save the world because there's always going to be that imbalance there. But as much as we can do, I'm driven by that great motivation that if we can offer opportunities to people, and the talented people, and if they want it bad enough, you're going to be able to nurture some of them, and these people will in turn be able to create amazing things that ultimately will then benefit the world. Through a large-scale event like Gitex, we can now influence and give more opportunities to people in obscure places, in obscure destinations that nobody has ever thought about going. And this drives me because I'm fortunate to have, I work hard, but at the same time, I had good opportunities given to me, and I took advantage of those good opportunities. And I just want to make sure, as best as we can change the lives of common people out there. And one day, and I'm sure we will hear back those stories that some of these people has then in turn benefited some other people.
Exactly, this compassion that you are talking about, this kind of empathy and willingness, not only willingness, but really deciding to make the difference. It has to come from somewhere, from some small Triksi when she was a young girl. Where did it come from?
You're dissecting me now. Okay. It has been, overall, if you look at the journey, it has been challenging for again, I go back to where we are. Singapore has nothing as well, you need to remember. Singapore is a very small country, very small
people have to
city-state.
remember that. You know, we are looking now and it was like, oh, wow.
Thank you. We have no water, we have no land, we don't even have sand, we have no agriculture. We're very dependent. And yet, you look at where it stands today, it's a superpower in every sense. Best airport, best education system, most competitive nation.
If ChatGPT existed back then and you had asked
they were never.
They would never say that Singapore.
Yes,
So this
but again, the grit and gumption of people can overturn what ChatGPT is telling you. So whatever they tell you is not so, because you have the power to rewrite history. But if you look at all those circumstances and environment around you, it's hard for anyone to rise. But I think, like I say, it's talent, it's hard work, and really just looking at how I have benefited sincerely from opportunities given to me by that 1-2 individuals. There are a lot of skeptics, and that has changed my life. And
but like a lot of people would say, okay, I have benefited, I'm going, but you are like, yeah, I know how hard it was, and I want to share it. I want to make this opportunity for others.
Yeah, so I just came back from Mongolia, and it was interesting, and I started looking at Mongolia. Who goes to Mongolia? If I were to look at the room here and ask anyone, they would say, where is Mongolia? Okay, Genghis Khan, okay, that's it, that's as far as it goes. I want to go out of my way. I told my husband, I don't want to go somewhere convenient and by the way, let's do some charity work. I want to go out of my way because then it forces me to make sure that we are committed as well. We went to Mongolia 4 or 5 years ago. We researched and we found a great home orphanage that is not supported by any organizations. It's not supported by the UN, it's not supported by the local government, it's tough. And we started committing ourselves to that, to support them as much as possible. And we are very proud that in the last 24 months, 12 months, we were very focused on finding a long-term donor, sponsor for them. And we succeeded in securing a good sponsor for them. So that assures them in terms mid-term onwards, that secured funds that will come in that will keep, you know, the 70, 80 children going without worrying about day-to-day what to eat, whether they have something to eat and all. And now for us, the next phase is then looking at what are we going to do with the older orphans because they have to leave the orphanage. Where are they going to go? So again, this is the next stage of the support that we hope to extend to them. So again, back to, it's a very long roundabout question, response to your question. What drives it? I think is really giving opportunities. Because when I look at some of the orphans, they are very talented, they are smart, hardworking. But they don't have the opportunities and the means. If I can, we can, through the platform that, you know, by Dubai World Trade Center, offering the platform of Gitex with your support as one of our key stakeholders in Gitex, that we can offer opportunities to people that would change. Changing 2 lives, 5 lives, destiny is good enough. I don't have to try and change the world. I'm not powerful enough. We are not. But why not? If we, you know, every bit that we can do, it means a lot. Because again, it's just such a shame. It's just such a shame that they don't have the opportunities. And I just want to make sure that as far as we can, we provide and facilitate that as much as possible.
That is really, really beautiful what you told. Just for the end of our talking session, I don't think it will be the last one. What made up your mind in deciding that Serbia should be a partner of this autumn Gitex in Dubai as a partner country?
I think it is important for us to now shine the light of ambitious young rising economies. Again, going back to same notion of what drives me. opportunities and accessibility for them to rise and shine. Serbia is no less than a lot of advanced economies. Maybe coming in a bit late because of many considerations, naturally out of anybody's control. But that should not deprive Serbia of the opportunities to show to the world what you can do. So we are very honored to have Serbia as our digital transformation economy partner this year in Gitex, and to focus and direct the world's attention on what Serbia is doing, where it has come from, the achievements, the celebrations, the projects that are coming, and where it's going to go, and how the rest of the world can benefit in working with Serbia, to co-create and to also capture the amazing talents and governance and the ambition, the energy, the sincerity, the integrity that the people and this region have. So it's time to really shine and the spotlight on Serbia, and through Serbia, the wider Balkans region, and then the bigger, Southeast Eastern Europe region. And not a nice way to say it, but again, being candid, it's almost like it's time for the underdogs to have its day. It's time for people who are, countries and organizations that has been obscured for different reasons to now have that platform and that voice. And I want Gitex to be that platform and to offer the voice to a lot of countries and cities and the people who so deserve to be heard. That's it. It's the opportunity. How are you going to use the opportunity? I wouldn't know. It's up to you.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
It's for everyone.
And thank you very much for this honest and beautiful conversation.
Thank you. Thanks for giving us the opportunity as well. Thank you, and to everyone.
Dragi moji radoznalci, u ovoj sezoni sam odlučio da rubriku u kojoj sam predstavljao knjige za kojom smatram da ih treba pročitati, proširim na još neke oblasti. Ovdje želim osim knjiga naravno predstaviti šta je to novo u oblasti IT tehnologija, AI rešenja, možda i neke preporuke za kuvanje, zašto ne? Sve što vam može biti zanimljivo i korisno. Idemo na Čadež tips. Imam odličnu ideju, ali ne znam kako da je finansiram. Ovo je pitanje koje čujemo svaki dan. Upravo zbog toga želim da vam predstavim jednu fantastičnu aplikaciju koju je radila Evropska komisija, zove se EU Funding and Me. I zapravo namenjena je upravo tome da na jednom mestu možete da pogledate sve one fondove i subvencije koje Evropska unija nudi i gde možete da pronađete novac da finansirate vašu ideju. Ova aplikacija upravo odgovara na to pitanje. Ne znam da li znate, ali EU svake godine izdvoji 38 milijardi evra za projekte i tendere. Zato ova aplikacija može biti korisna za svakoga ko misli da ima dobar projekat, za istraživače, pojedince, kompanije, preduzetnike koji žele da koriste ove fondove. Jedna važna napomena da ne bude zabune. U aplikaciji je jasno navedeno da su neki programi isključivo za članice EU, to nismo mi, a da su neki programi za pridružene zemlje, to smo mi. Pa u njima možemo da učestvujemo poput Horizon Europe, Creative Europe, Erasmus. Dok ne uđemo u Evropsku uniju, preko ove aplikacije možemo bar da pratimo sve postojeće programe, da sačuvamo pretrage, uključimo notifikacije o novim projektima, događajima i sl. Prema informacijama Evropske komisije, više od 2 miliona korisnika je uključeno u fondove i projekte Evropske unije. Kako meni deluje ova aplikacija? Na prvi pogled zaista jeste korisna, ali kao i sve nove aplikacije morat će još da se razvija. Neki procesi poput kontakta sa projekt ofisom nisu uvek dostupni i ima još dosta stvari koje mogu da se unaprede. Ali svakako izuzetno dobar korak Evropske komisije ka modernizaciji procesa pristupa i evropskim fondovima. U svakom slučaju jednostavna je za korišćenje i naravno korisna. Dostupna je i na App Store-u i na Google Store.